Okay. Kim says words are hard. Amen, sister. Amen. Okay, let's talk about this project, shall we? So, this is the project du jour. This is going to be fabric for my friend Lisa. We're making wallets, custom wallets for her and her family. And we are using for the fabric, we're using grandma's blouses, which are so sweet. There's four different blouses we're using. One is this really light kind of see-through, kind of all the colors, all like pretty, like all of the blouses are very pretty, very feminine. I never met grandma, but you could tell that she was someone who liked to, you know, liked to the dress femininely. That was a yes, yeah. So that's one of them. This is another one. This is kind of hot pink stripe, right? This is another blouse here. Oh, dropping stuff. Here's the third one. Kind of a cool, it's a good like turquoise blue and teal color. And the last one is a solid, very kind of a lightweight, kind of silky, but like a really pale pink, like not quite, Chris Acton colored, but very pale pink. So for this type of project, then whatever personal items they give me, I will cut them up into strips and then work them into the fabric. And then we will cut the fabric and we will make them into she wanted wallets. So we're going to make a whole series of wallets. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we'll see if I have enough, I can kind of manage the materials well enough. I am hoping that I can line at least some of them with the actual fabric that's left from the blouses. So that can be the lining. I think that'd be really sweet. We'll see. That's just kind of a nice to have, not a have to have. Because certainly Lisa did not care. She's like, whatever, I'm going to give you stuff, go weave with it, make things for the family. Okay, great. So that has been the plan. So let me bring you in closer so you can kind of see what we have started here. So I determined my warp yarns just kind of playing off of what the colors were in those blouses. So that's where I came up with this kind of light blue, kind of apple green, a neutral, a pink, and then a little bit of a navy. I wanted a little bit of a difference just as you looked across the warp. Now, here's what's interesting is that this project, I know for a fact, you're only going to see a certain chunk at a time because I'm going to make wallets out of this. So at no point is anything going to be the entire width of it. So it's an interesting thing to keep in mind as I'm kind of constructing the project because, a wallet is only going to be, I think I only need like, I don't know, 7 inches, maybe 6, 7 inches wide. So there's going to be like little bits of it. So each wallet will look different, even though I have kind of the same or a similar kind of repeat here in the warp. So what's so fun about this kind of project is that you build it as you go, basically. So I have here, I'll show you. I need one more hand for this. Let me put you back. Oh, please. I'll put you back right there. So here's what first of all, I am sure that I could create the project, weave the project such that it will hold together with just the repurposed materials. I am sure I could. However, I get really nervous about that. So I always put some other kind of a running weft yarn underneath all of that, just so that I could sleep at night. That's basically what it is. Everyone can kind of handle that differently, but it's that's what I do. I always have some kind of weft underneath whatever repurposed strips I'm using. So here's what I did. I took a couple different materials. Can you see that? A couple of different yarns, different colors, different textures, and I put them together in my big old rug shuttle just for this will act as the kind of structure underneath all of the repurposed stuff there. And then I hand place the strips over it. Now, I have no doubt that you could sew them end to end, or there's some other way that you could take all of the strips of recycled things and make one big long weft and put it in a shuttle and go to town. You absolutely can, of course. But I like to play. I like to leave gaps in certain places and have them overlap at other places. And I like the creativity on the go with this kind of project. So that's kind of how I tackle it. By the way, this is very great timing because we are going to do an entire repurposing and weaving class on Earth Day this year. I figured that was good timing, right? That just seems like kismet. So on was the 22nd of April is Earth Day, I think. I think it's a Wednesday. We are going to offer 2 sessions of a repurposing and weaving class. It'll be the same class, just offered 2 different times. You'll see more about that coming up very shortly. But this is perfect timing that I can actually get into a repurposed project so that I can really kind of finesse all the things that I want to share with you during the class. So keep an eye out. That's just a little sidebar, a little plug for what's coming. Let's do some weaving. Okay. So here is how I like to play this. First of all, it's just, by the way, it's just plain weave. Doesn't have to be. It could be a twill. Twill could be fun, but I typically just do plain weave. Mostly because the purpose of the fabric is to highlight grandma's blouses. That's what I just keep saying over and over in my head the entire process. The purpose is to highlight grandma's blouses. So all the colors that I choose need to make the little strips of fabric sparkle. Like the whole idea is that when it's done, they look at the fabric and they're like, oh, I remember grandma wearing that blouse. Like that is the whole purpose of the fabric. So everything that I do to kind of plan the project and put it together reflects that goal. So here we go. Let me just slide that in. Got yarns going everywhere here. Okay. So I will kind of just place it basically, and then I'll come in with whatever strips I want to put in for that row. Now, not every row has to get repurposed, has to get strips of grandma's blouse. We're going to do a blue. We're going to do a blue. We're going to do one of these guys. Now, what's so interesting is that grandma, the blouses are all from when grandma was the same size. And they're a very similar style. So they're all button downs and they all have like a little pocket, look like a little pocket or a little breast pocket kind of thing. So as I was cutting up that panel from the blouse, the strips are almost exactly the same size, which is good and bad when it comes to this kind of, if you want them to stagger, that's not a good thing. So on occasion, I will actually cut off a chunk and then rework it in somewhere else. It's all up to you. Okay, so here we go. I just go in there with my fingers, friends. Like I said, I'm sure there's a way that you could get in there and have it on some kind of a shuttle. You could have some kind of delivery system for the weft, but I like it. It's slow. Yes, it is slow, but I like the control that it gives me and that I can be so spontaneous as I'm weaving the fabric. Okay, let's see here. This is going to go right about there. I'm going to come back the other direction here. Let me see if I can do it and not knock over all the things. This comes back this way. Okay. Here's the other thing that I have to keep in mind is that this blouse has all the fun, the crazy fun colors, because it's so lightweight, I have less of this material. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to parse it out. Yeah. Here's what usually happens. I usually get really stingy with the materials in the beginning, and then I have a ton left over because I didn't really need to be so stingy. That's usually what happens. I think Lisa said she needed, it's like 10 wallets maybe, which is not very much. I mean, that's not even a yard really. So I'm probably being way, way too stingy, but that's all right. Live and learn. Live and learn. So I'll kind of put that in there. I'm going to come back with a stripe next to a little hot pink stripe is going to go in there next. Yeah. Now, here's what's interesting is that I will adjust the width of the strips depending on how much it's going to squish. It's the squishability factor, friends. That's what I like to keep in mind. If it's not going to squish very much, I make it real narrow. And if it's going to squish a lot, I will make it a wider strip from there. So it all depends. And that's just kind of practice. And In this case, it doesn't matter if each row isn't the same width, same height, however you want to think about that. So it doesn't matter so much, but I like it. I find that this is the kind of project that I love to do on occasion, and I really enjoy it. And then I'm like, okay, that's enough. Now let's get back to flinging a shuttle back and forth and just going to town. You know how that goes, right? So I'm put one more in here, and then I'll bring in so you can see it kind of nice and close. Ooh, that reaches the whole way. Nice. Okay. All right. Let me bring it in so you can see. Okay. So here's what we just did, like a couple of rows kind of in here. But you can see, like, I don't always have them overlap. I'll have this one stopped here, or this one, because I like a little bit, you can see a little bit of the weft that kind of peeks through it. This one clearly is a little bit bigger when it comes to kind of the height of the pick. And you can kind of play with that. But there's no kind of there's no rhyme or reason. Part of the idea is just to play with the colors and weave it as you go, which I like that. I like that kind of, I like to say you build it. You build it as you go through the project, which is just kind of, Deb says, squish is my new favorite term, weaving term. Yeah, well, it's important. How much is a squish? What is the squishability factor? Oh, thank you. Brittany says it looks like a painting. Yeah, thanks. That's kind of the idea. I like when I can create a fabric that has repurposed things that doesn't look too stripy, if that makes sense. So that's what I kind of, yeah. Oh, see, Connie says she doesn't sew hers together either. Yeah, I think that, first of all, you know how I feel about sewing. So there's reason number one, I'm not going to do that. But I also think that sometimes you get a bulk that you don't need in the fabric. Now, this is going to be pretty fine. Like, I think we tend to think of, if we're doing like a rag rug, that it's going to be really bulky and strong. And this will be a nice, fine fabric. So I don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah, there's no. Yep. Oh, Sky says use a Tunisian crochet hook for pulling those ones through. What's a Tunisian crochet hook, honey? How is that different than a regular crochet hook? I have questions. Shirley suggested a stick with some kind of clip on one end. Norm! We'll put Norm right on that. Yes. Oh, that's a good question. Brittany, are you going to use the buttons in the wallets? That's an interesting question. They're tiny. They're like little, blouse, tiny little buttons. They could be some kind of a decorative element. Oh, that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe. How's that? I'm going to leave it as a solid maybe, Brittany. That's, yeah. I like it. Connie was saying she's going to do a rug with white sheets that I dyed the desired colors. Ooh, that would absolutely work for Earth Day. Of course. Shirley says, I haven't stuff to repurpose. Look forward to the class. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes, Lori confirmed. Yes. Earth Day, April 22nd. Yes. Yeah. It's going to be fun. I taught the class a million years ago, and I love it. I just think that as weavers, we are so, so, so fortunate that we do a craft that is perfect for repurposing. I mean, the best. On a scale of really clunky and hard to repurpose to it's the most logical thing in the world, weaving is a 10. Like, it is the craft for repurposing things. Yeah. Connie said, why do I have spaces? Just design. There's no logical reason. It's in the mind of the artist, Connie. Let's see. Kim said, do you put a backing on the fabric before cutting? Hell yes. Iron on interfacing. Yes. Do you know what? And let me remind you, I don't actually do the sewing. But after talking to Dinah and various other seamstresses, typically I think what Dinah does is it's a iron-on interfacing, and then she uses a serger to get so you have a cleaner edge, and then you just don't fiddle with it much. Now, these wallets are, I happen to have one. Look at this. What kind of timing is that? This is what we're making, friends. This is not, do I have one with recycled stuff in it? No, I don't. Not handy. But this is the size. This is what we're making. It'll look exactly like this. It'll be the scale. So in good news, it's a big rectangle. That's what we're working towards. It's a big rectangle. So we don't have to, fidget with it. Like we don't have to do pleats. We don't have to do any kind of gathering. So that works in our favor when it comes to keeping the fabric so it doesn't fall apart instantly the second that you cut it or manipulate it. If that makes sense? Yeah. Good question. I like that. Yes. Thank you. Sky said, I've been curious what your weft was going to be and if it always has to be the yarns I've seen used up until now. No, we're going off script, Sky. That is for sure. Surely so cute. That's a wide warp for you. Kinda. It's 25 inches, I think. Mm-hmm. Yep. I like